Just smoking mirrors, they burn my eyes. Isn't it funny? You were my lover, but not my friend. I think it's funny. Oh, I guess it depends how you look at it. And I guess it was luck that brought us together. And I guess it was love that brought all my tears. But if I was a revelator, it wasn't luck that brought us here. Treasure the pain for the thrill of the game and the chase. From twisting the knife just to watch it die. As if that idea was ever mine. And I guess it was love that brought us together. And I guess it was love that brought all my tears. But if I was a revelator, it wasn't love that brought us here. Je suis désolé. Je suis désolé. Je suis désolé. Je suis désolé.
Hi, Francesca. Welcome
Hi.
to the boat. Thanks for joining us today. So, how's it going?
It's been going really good.
Francesca, I met you at the Bazaar Cafe probably, I think it was right after you moved to San Francisco. Tell us a little bit about your trajectory to San Francisco, though you have a little Bay Area roots before all that, too.
I do. Yeah, so I grew up in the Bay Area up until I was 10 years old, and then I moved to Texas when I was 10. Pretty much did all my, the end of elementary school up into high school there, and then I actually came back, and I went to Alameda for 1 year.
And here you are, coming out of Alameda again. It's
Yep.
a full circle moment.
And then I studied music over in England at the Liverpool Institute for Performing Arts that was founded by Sir Paul McCartney, and went there to study music and songwriting and voice, and then basically after I graduated, I did go to Texas for about a year and a half.
Okay.
I knew I wanted to do music. I was so passionate about it. And all I could think of was, well, should I go to New York City or should I go to San Francisco? Where at the time, there was a lot going on.
Home is down.
But, I have my family here.
Looks like we're going to get into the middle of a race.
Oh, is there a race going on?
Yeah. You said your family's here.
Yeah, so my father lives here, and my sister at the time was here, and so it just made sense for me to come to San Francisco. And, when I came here, my whole goal was, I want to go and, get my music out there, play at every open mic I could. I met you at the Bazaar Cafe at an open mic, actually. And it was just really like, I'm going to work hard and just, you know, I want to work in jobs that I can work part-time and just support my music, my dreams of music and writing. And so I did that. I did a lot of promotion and worked really hard on, you know, recording, getting in the studio, having a band. But I mean, as that grew, you know, I realized that, you know, I wanted to be in it for the long haul, and I wanted to make a career, not just have this idea of, you know, becoming some rock star. But as we do when you're 20,
right,
2 or 3 years old.
And you don't know about all the other paths necessarily, because that's what's like the cherry on top that everybody sees. So you think, oh, that's what you do with music, instead of like, there's also all this other stuff to do.
There's a lot of other stuff to do. And I always felt like it was what I did best, really. So at one point I thought, well, I could be working at a bar, I could be working as a waitress and just doing this, or I could actually share my skills in other ways. So that's when I got into teaching and sharing my knowledge with young people, with older people. And one of the classes I teach is a songwriting class at the Freight and Salvage, and it's just amazing. I mean, what people come up with and how I can bring out their emotions, their creativity, their words, and, you know, how they get so much out of it, especially during, you know, the past year with people being at home. I mean, I really connected a lot with people, you know, especially online, which is amazing. It's a whole different dynamic, but over time I think you get used to that. So that was one part, and then also charity work and bringing music through the nonprofit work that I do with the organization Bread and Roses Presents, and that's been a long time that I've been doing that. You know, that was another way that I learned, okay, music is not just about going out there and having everybody, you know, love what you write, and maybe music's about, you know, in a way, a therapy. You know, there's a very healing power to music, and so I learned that, and that really helped me to kind of get out of my head as an artist and kind of look at it as more of a service. You know, what can I do to help people and the world?
All the stars are shining so bright. Oh, baby, won't you take me for a ride? I wanna be your girl, you know I wanna be your pride. So show me all your consolations tonight. Tonight in a galaxy of love. Oh boy, don't be shy in a galaxy of love. We'll get along just fine in the galaxy of love. So will you say, will you be mine in a galaxy of love? Gonna have a little picnic party on the moon, and then a pitch a tent on a cloud that was made for two. Oh, you know, in here in outer space there's only one thing to do. Oh, this universe was made for me and you. Tonight in a galaxy of love. Oh, don't be shy in a galaxy of love. We'll get along just fine in a galaxy of love. So what do you say, will you be mine in a galaxy of love? galaxy of love. Oh boy, don't be shy in our galaxy of love. We'll get along just fine in our galaxy of love. So what do you say, will you be mine in our galaxy of love? Won't you be mine in our galaxy of love?
Yay!
Nice.
Yay, the galaxy of love!
When you're actually teaching, has that been like reanimated your desire to write? You find?
Yeah, my students have really inspired me. In fact, I learned to teach from my students because when I first started, I was like, I don't know. I mean, I want to teach. I hesitated for so many years. I just thought I had to know it all. You know, you have these insecurities. Like, I know how to play music. I know what I do, but how am I going to teach somebody else that?
Right.
You know, and are they going to really listen to me? You know, you get these like chatter in your head, thinking, what if they find out something I don't know? You know?
Right.
But then I realized you teach what you know.
Right, right. And the students that need what you have
Right.
appear.
Right,
You know?
and so I realized, I was like, wait a minute, that's how this works? Okay. So I just kind of went in there, but what I learned is for like about a year, when I first worked for Blueberry School of Music over in San Francisco, I listened to the students, what they needed, and I saw, you know, repetition, and I took note of that, and I saw what worked, what didn't work. But I also, at one point, just was myself, and just, well, here's what I would do.
Right.
You know, here's how I would play this. Well, why don't you try this? And then that's when students got so excited. And then I developed like close relationships where I actually saw the progress. And I have this one student that I've been teaching since she was 10 years old.
Oh, wow.
She's 13 now, and she's become an incredible singer and writer. And I'm so proud. You know, it's like to see a child develop, and but also to see when they really listen and really want to put the time in, and you see yourself in them too when
Right.
you're younger. And I always say this: I want to be the kind of teacher that I wish I had. When
I was going to say,
young.
did you have mentors for your music?
Well, my father is a musician. You know, he was my first person that I remember consistently playing music in the house. You know, and my mother also is a singer, and she performed with my dad when I was younger, and is also very much a very creative person.
What type of music were they doing? Were they doing originals, or was your dad's a jazz guitarist?
Well,
is that correct?
my dad, well, he can play jazz, but he's also plays a lot of really great blues. I mean, pretty rock. He does everything. But my dad, he had a lot of success in Japan when he was younger, in the late 60s, 70s. He was signed to Warner Brothers.
Oh, wow.
He had a band there, a couple of different bands that did very well. And then, you know, he moved to Seattle first, and then he went over to LA, and that's how he met my mom.
Okay.
They actually met both because they were both, I mean, he was already established. My mom was also pursuing music too.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
They met at the restaurant. My dad was playing there or something, and my mom was waitress there.
Oh, my goodness.
They were set up on like some, if this is right, Mom, but like the blind date. Like, she told me that she thought it was the chef she was going out with, but then it turned out to be the musician. So,
Well, it worked, obviously.
yeah, and they performed together in Japan, and my mom wrote original songs. My dad writes original songs too, but my mom also did. And
Wow.
yeah, so, you know, I would say that that's the inspiration, because I loved singing since I was like a child, and
It was just what was done in your house, pretty much. Like,
yeah.
people did music.
Oh yeah, and very musical. And I'm trying to think anybody, but that has to be the biggest one.
What about inspiring, like, to do your own music? Like, when you think about your early influences, who were they?
I think when I was really young, one of the first artists that I remember, actually, like, I mean, my mom and dad both had this pretty big vinyl collection, but it was Carly Simon. You
Yeah,
know?
well, she's a great singer.
I
Yeah.
listened to her, and I forgot what album it was, but I mean, just, you know, the record, going to my bedroom and like going through all the songs and looking at the lyrics. You know, the vinyls had all the,
Right.
you got to see the pictures and all that stuff, and I was just really excited. And I don't know, I think it was because she had her hit songs, but then she had these really, deeper songs, and it really kind of hit me, and then I thought about, oh, okay, writing, right? It's about storytelling, But yeah, when I was younger, I loved the Talking Heads. My dad would play that for me because he knew that if he played the Talking Heads, I'd jump around like a crazy person. He's like, okay, guess what? I'm gonna play the Talking Heads. I'm like, yeah, So, Beatles, obviously, Beatles. I mean, that was probably what I remember, memorizing the words. To this, like the song, all the songs were like, this is my favorite song. No, this is my favorite song. No, this is my... Well, I've tried so hard. I tried so hard not to pretend. I said to myself, this affair would never go so well. But why should I try to resist when I know so well that I've got you under my skin? I will sacrifice, come what might, for the sake of having you near, despite of a warning voice that calls through the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, face up with reality. But each time I do, something stops before I begin. Oh, 'cause I've got you under my skin. Sacrifice, come what might, for the sake of having you near, despite of a warning voice that calls through the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, face up with reality. Oh, but each time I do, something stops before I begin. Oh, 'cause I got you under my skin. Oh, 'cause I've got you under my skin. 'Cause I got you under my skin.
So tell us a little bit about getting to that institute. Then you applied and
Yeah.
you you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to live overseas. Like, how long?
That was exciting.
Was it a year or two? Or?
Well, I was there so the course was a BA music performing arts course, which was 3 years. But I was there a little longer. I had a job and I actually worked at the Beatles Museum.
Really?
It's called the Beatles Story at the Albert Dock in Liverpool, England, and I was like a tour guide.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and I dressed people up in Sgt. Pepper costumes and took their photo. I was the only one that knew how to work the camera.
Oh, that's
They would
hysterical.
call me up on my day off and be like, "Friend, we need help. We don't know how to work this machine, and we have these people want their picture taken. Can you come over?" I'm like, "No, leave me alone."
So did you feel very at home there? Was that like mind blowing? Did you feel like that changed your trajectory?
I loved it. I totally lived in the romanticism of I'm moving to England and I'm this young person going to school and I'm going to this, it was, it was super exciting for me. And
did that change your direction in music at all, or did it just make it blossom more?
Yeah, I had always kind of lived in smaller towns, like suburbs. So, for example, in Texas, I was in between Dallas and Fort Worth. I lived in Alameda for a year, but I also lived in Fairfield, California, the first 10 years of my life. So I don't know if I really fit in with people. But when I went there, it was kind of a confirmation when you get all these young people that are around your age or older too. There were old people that were older. They're like, oh, okay, this is like, we're all kind of have this little passion and dream. And here we are in this like little bubble that's been created for us. And so for me, that's when I learned to collaborate with people and really, start working as a team to accomplish something, whether it be recording. So that was really great for me because I felt a little isolated growing up. I just had, okay, well, I can't find people to play with me, so I guess I'll learn how to play guitar and play on my own. Nobody's serious, because I had my garage bands and stuff when I was a kid and all that, but it didn't last. Or I would be the girl that, in high school, the guys would say, "Hey, Francesca can sing. Let's have her in our band." And I go in there, and they're just playing all over me, and I'm like, so I said, I'm going to write my own music and do my own thing. To me, that's what changed. That's when I said, okay, I think I can do this. Also, because I was around a lot of talented people.
Right.
Some of them have went on to become famous or well-known in their own right in music. So it was like, if I could hang with this group, it's like, okay, then I think I might be able to do this if I work hard enough for it and can figure this, living the dream.
I know for Bread and Roses, a lot of the shows had to be canceled outright.
Yeah, we had
that was a big change.
It was a big change, but we were strong. I mean, I'm doing 2 shows a week here in the East Bay for the food banks. I've been doing that, and also in South Bay, like South San Francisco, because there's been a big need here in the Bay Area for people that need food, and and to bring live music to people that are, some of them probably feel uncomfortable being there, waiting in their car to get, food distribution, to see a band playing makes them feel so happy. The shift that changed with me years ago, which was that I didn't just feel like I was just playing for that, hey, listen to me.
Right.
It was more of like,
what are you giving?
I want to give back to you. And I would say this even before some of my shows on the microphone. I would just say, I want to share with you my music today, and thank you so much. It means so much that you're listening and you're here. And I would actually acknowledge people. I used to go up to everybody in the hotel and just shake their hand and say, thank you so much. And it means so much that you're here. And people would say, oh, all of a sudden they're acknowledged, right? A lot of artists don't acknowledge, like, the person that, the audience doesn't have to listen to you. And if you do write something that resonates with them and it strikes some emotional, something inside of them where they're going to interpret it in their own way, that's beautiful. That's like what it's about. And also, like when I play a song now, like I feel so much like joy within the song, It's not about like, do I sound okay?
Right. Well, you know yourself now.
It's like a dance. That's why I tell people. It's like when you dance with a partner and you're just like, you're in the moment. That's what it is when you're playing and you're in the song. It's like a dance that happens. So I discovered that because I was pretty nervous when I was in college playing. I mean, I used to get very insecure. I used to not talk.
Some people are natural. We all have our process of learning these things,
right.
But you have to do to learn.
Yeah.
Like there's no shortcut. It's like this from teaching. You can tell your students things, and some people are going to pick up There's only so much I can tell them. They're either going to get it or not. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing with my students, I try to tell them, let go, just lean into the song, just like feel it. If you're gonna sing a sad song, make it sad. I love writing my dramatic love songs, and you know the thing is, it's either all or nothing. If you're gonna go for it, if you're gonna write a song about unrequited love, then you better sing it. You better sing it like you mean it, and don't be ashamed of that. You know, it's like let it just, because you know when you're believable and you're really feeling it, it's not embarrassing to share your deepest emotions, and because everybody else feels that way or has. That's the one thing you got to remind yourself. Everybody has felt the same. That, you know, if you're like have a heartbeat, I mean, I would imagine that you felt something like that before. So I'm not really. I don't shy around that kind of stuff. I like to write a lot of. You know, I had my newest song. My one of my students said, "Are you okay, Francesca?" I'm like, "I'm totally fine. I'm doing great. I had a great weekend." Because that's really believable. Whatever you wrote, I was thinking something happened. I'm like, good. I'm doing my job right.
picture of you in my mind.
Very nice.
Woo! Thank you.
So talk about your songwriting process. Are you someone who sits down with an instrument and just kind of noodles and sees what comes out? Or do you like go, okay, I'm going to write a song about this and do the exercise I just assigned people?
Yeah.
Or do you like, oh my God, I'm feeling this way, I got to sing?
Yeah, there's just different processes. So there's the way that a lot of people do, which is they pick up a guitar or go on the piano, play something, kind of sing, get inspired. And I've written a lot of songs like that. But for example, my last song I wrote, I actually wrote the music around the melody and the words.
Huh.
So the opposite, because there's a normal structure.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you mean normal structure?
Well, that's a good question. What normal
or
structure?
usual structure.
Well, usual structure. Yeah, normal's not the right word, but like how a lot of songs have a pattern, and it's pretty predictable. Like, okay, you're gonna have this verse and chorus, and the chords are probably gonna be the same, and there'll be a bridge or a change, But this song I wrote, it has a beginning part that never comes back in, but it works for some reason. And my producer that I work with, for 15 minutes, he kind of was like, I don't really know. Does that work? But then when it all came together, the vision, especially if you've been writing for a while, you know it's going to work. So then there's also times that I've had a melody, and then again I find the music around that. And I have students that don't really play instruments, and they just they'll hum a melody. I'm like, I think this is what you want, and I'll play the chords.
Cool.
So I'll work with them that way. And but that's pretty much my process. And some songs are take me 10 minutes to write. Some take 10 years to write. So it just depends.
King tides were out, pull back from the rising sea, leaving patterns in the sand. We're puzzling to understand all the red flags come to attention. At half-mast on our ground, all the things I don't want to mention beyond the safe and sound. Sunk down with each step, still we made it back to shore. Blue skies say we're all okay, underneath there's something more. All the red flags come to attention, at half-mast on high ground. All the things I don't want to mention beyond the safe and sound. Here's hoping we'll be alright on our island in the sun. All the red flags come to attention, at half-mast on our ground. All the things I don't want to mention beyond the safe and sound. All the red flags come to attention, at half-mast on our ground. All the things I don't want to mention beyond the safe and sound. All the red flags come to attention, at half-mast on high ground. All the things I don't want to mention beyond the safe and sound.
Francesca Lee, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
and playing at Love the Bay.
Thank
Deborah
you.
Crooks.
Bobby Copeland.
We love the Bay!